To the breeze. Topic number 1 says a thread. White man begged to say N-word. An Arab dude puts on a white hood. Black folk sit and wait for checks. Thoughts. That's a lot covering there, but let's go to Twitter. Let me share my screen with you guys. Hold on a second. As we go to Twitter for this thread. Juan, how's the temperature down in the hometown today?
Oh, the temperature on hell. You know, the temperature on hell. Really, it's burning, man. It's burning, Kofu. It's burning, brother.
Yeah, the temperature on some level of hell here in New York today too. Boy. Damn. So
I felt like I was back home. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I'll tell you the honest truth. I almost didn't make the show tonight, man. I was, you know, when that heat have you tired and you just want to like lay down. I was there today, boy. Yeah, that heat is something else. So, should it be topic number 1?
Hey, Kofu.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Kofu. I tell you this. Don't you know BEC been on for 2 hours? We going through a heat wave and they lock off the current for 2 hours.
That BEC still on bullshit, boy. Man. Should it be topic number 1? A thread. White man begged to say N-word. An Arab dude puts on a white hood. Black folks sit and wait for check. Thoughts. So let's go to this video on Twitter. Let me tee it up. First it says, this is from Tree of Logic. It says, I told you white folks that these Negroes don't give a fuck about you saying the N-word. Here's white supremacist Nick Fuentes surrounded by a bunch of ghetto hyenas cackling as he drops a huge N-bomb at Fresh and Fit. So let's check out the video.
Yeah. You can say it.
Yeah. Say it. Come on, man. I want you to say it.
For real.
Yeah.
What you got?
You want me to say it?
Yeah.
Is anyone going to hit me if I say it?
No. 2 hours. Come on, Nick. What you got?
All right, nigger.
You can say it.
Yeah. Say it. Come on, man. I want you to say it.
For real. Yeah. What you got?
You want me to say it?
Yeah.
Is anyone going to hit me if I say it?
No. 2 hours. Come on, Nick. What you got?
All right, nigger.
You can say it.
So that's the first part of it. Let me see what the rest is. Scrolling down. Here's another clip. Make sure you guys can hear me still. Yeah. Here's another clip of Nick Fuentes referring to one of the quote-unquote Pookie makers sitting at the table as his nigga. Thanks to Danny for bringing this to my attention. So Fresh and Fit gets a pass, right? So let's check out what this buffoonery is here.
Nigga. Nigga.
It goes on. Not to be outdone, Myron from the Fresh and Shit podcast puts on his favorite KKK hood so that you Negroes can see him in his true form. All right, let's see.
It's the point, Myron.
Thanks for it and gave it to you. I don't know
What is the point, Myron? What is the point?
Bro, we're finished, bro.
What's the
Fucking canceled.
I heard
What's
somebody
the
say
point?
magic word.
Choose this when we come on the podcast.
Magic word 3 times.
What's the point, Myron?
Listen, man.
Yeah,
Myron.
What's the point?
Myron.
I need to know.
I am not in agreement with this.
What is the
I don't
point?
agree with this.
What's the point? Hey, man, I heard somebody else saying the magic word, bro. Yeah, this
And
one
y'all
is
just
here.
recording it. Take it off. It's funny.
Yeah.
Can you take it off though?
No, I'm not taking it off.
Disrespecting you.
All right.
Keep it on. Keep it on.
Welcome
Let
to Rumble
everybody
Ninjas.
see.
All right. Thanks for it and gave it to you. I don't know what
How do you find that?
What is the point, Myron? What is the point?
Bro, we're finished, bro.
Y'all getting fucking canceled.
I heard
What's
somebody
the
say
point?
magic word.
Choose this when we come on the
Magic
podcast.
word 3 times.
What's the point, Myron?
Listen, man.
Yeah,
Myron.
What's the point?
Myron.
I need to know.
I am not in agreement with this.
What is the
I don't
point?
agree with this.
What's the point? Hey, man, I heard somebody else saying the magic word, bro. Yeah, this
And
one
y'all
is
just
here.
recording it. Take it off. It's funny.
Yeah.
Can you take it off though?
No, I'm not taking it off.
Disrespecting you.
All right.
Keep it on. Keep it on. Let
Welcome to Rumble
everybody
Ninjas.
see.
All right. Thanks for it and gave it to you. I don't know what
All right. I guess that's the end of the thread, right? Yeah, I think that's the end of the thread. You know, this blew up last week, and we didn't talk about it last Saturday, of course. But these guys deserve to get their ass whooped, number one. Number two, you know, for all the flack that the black women on the panel got, these women here, I gotta say that a lot of them did seem kind of concerned and uncomfortable during this nonsense too. So I gotta point that out. Shout out to the matron who's joined us out here tonight. Real black gentleman called them fresh and fastest. That's a good one. I like fresh and shit, but fresh and fastest is good too. Ms. Vita is here with us tonight. Thanks for coming through, my dear. She said shameless. Trigger Happy 262 in the chat. He's here. Thanks for coming through. He says it's crazy because all those women had the nerve to have a problem with it when the podcast was closing. Their actions after the podcast makes it worse. So Trigger makes a good point. Some of them were hugged up with the dude at the end too. So even though they do look a little uncomfortable in parts of this during the show, they did, and I'm hugging up with the guy afterwards. So that's an excellent point from Trigger Happy 262. Buana, were you aware of this story? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I saw it. I also saw a video after this scenario where a girl, one of the girls, she was all apologetic as to what she did. She said that a lot of it was set up and staged. She really didn't know going in what was going to happen. And she said her brother had to kind of school her on context, you know. So she was very apologetic about it. I think that Tariq Nasheed used it to be divisive in saying that they were a bunch of tethers, you know, all these people in the room. But it came to find out it was a mix. It was people from the continent. It was people from America. It's people from the Caribbean, Haiti. But this is just bringing light on the fact that black white supremacists, and I think that is an unspoken thing within our community. I think that our community believe and think because a person is brown or black, they have the same kind of sympathies and loyalties to the black race as we do. And I think that this is just really bringing light to the subject itself, because you have black people in black skin who hate themselves or have no loyalty to themselves, have no self-respect, you know. And even though some of the girls were squeamish, you notice none of them left. None of them had the tenacity to leave the room. Everyone want to be accepted, and it's all jovial. And even though they had some reservations, none of them got up out of their seat and left. They stayed right in the room, you know. So I have to follow your actions, not necessarily your words. But there are black white supremacists that exist. And I think that this is just bringing light to the fact that there are people like that out there. They have no compunction about telling you that, you are in second class or coming up, last because, that's nature make you that way. So I think that it's good that the fact that they just put this out there, and it's a very popular show to make people aware that black white supremacists exist. And this guy, he's a Mexican. He's a Mexican. So he is also a minority. And Mexican white supremacists exist. And I know that the Americas are very color centrist. Everything is based on skin complexion, but culture comes into play as well. And but I just know that we really need to bring light to the subject that there are minority groups, including us, who don't see ourselves in a very favorable light. So I think that whether they know it or not, they was doing God work in exposing the fact that black folks and other minorities see themselves in a very low position and a very low light. That's what I have to say about this.
Thank you for that, Buana. It also makes me think of the concept of how unserious we are, how serious we are about being unserious. Like I'm noticing is getting to a point where what our kidnapped and enslaved ancestors went through is becoming a joke now, the further we get away from the incident. And I think that's a shame. I think that's a damn shame that we can joke on it. One thing, before I go to Oni, one thing I've always noticed, particularly with stand-up comedy, I'm big on stand-up comedy. One thing I know is with black folks who do comedy and their audiences, a black guy will stand up and do comedy talking about slavery, this, that, and the other. And the white audience will laugh their ass off. They'll talk about Jim Crow or some discrimination, and white folks in the audience will laugh their ass off. And it's just a big joke. How are you making a joke out of these things? I have a big problem with that.
Because black pain and black suffering is entertainment for them. It is funny for them. Black suffering and black pain is suffering for them. Black success and black intelligence is something that is threatening. This is the language that these people have been speaking for many years, and we tend to ignore these things. My mother used to tell me, say, one of the most dangerous things in the world is an intelligent black man. She told me that from when I was very young. So I pride myself in trying to be as dangerous as possible. But this is what they enjoy. Black torment, black suffering is something that is entertainment. Now these days they have seek to monetize it. So we get around and we laugh about a man wearing a KKK outfit. They monetize it now. It's interesting,
Yeah, very interesting. In the chat, Trigger Happy's earlier said he agreed with me that they did show some concern, but it seemed somewhat fake when one kissed him, another twerked on him, another one was so happy to take a pic with him. Wow. He also says this just proves that you can't walk around this world not knowing anything about the world or something about the world. Political apathy is siding with the enemy. Jose is here in the chat. Shout out to Jose. I haven't seen you in a while. He says, "What is intelligent?" So I'll bring that back to Buana in a few, I guess. Let's welcome our boy D-Web. D-Web, how are you this week?
Oh, I'm good, man. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. So, What are your thoughts, Web, on Fresh and Shit or Fresh and Fastest?
Honestly, man, we know what these dudes are about, right? You know what these dudes are about. They're about that engagement. They're about bringing these Instagram thirsty wannabe influencers on these women and exploiting them as well. To me, we do a disservice when we give these people attention. These are not your people, bro. Right? We live in this engagement culture where it doesn't matter if it's bad publicity, it doesn't matter if it's good publicity, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, you being critical of this shit. The more people that talk about them, it's a dub. They knew this shit was bogus when they did. They look at them. They knew what they were gonna get when they did this. They invited Nick Fuentes. Everybody know who Nick Fuentes is at this point. You know what Nick Fuentes is about. You know what Fresh and Fit is about. These people will monetize this, and you've seen Elon handing out stimmies, as what I call them, handing out money to all these so-called content creators. This is exactly what they want. I would recommend when you see this type of stuff come across your feed, you block this and whoever else is promoting it, because this is exactly what they want. They want the outrage. And it's like, I think I've seen a panel, a poll or something, or maybe even a study that shows that you're more likely to engage or share stuff that actually outrages you or makes you mad or offends you than you are stuff that's actually positive. And they know this, right? These people aren't stupid. They know this. They know what they know what they're doing. So to me, I would say, even when this stuff comes across as a discussion, that we shouldn't even talk about. These aren't our people, bro. You know, these are NPCs. These are wannabe influencers, quote unquote. These are wannabe content creators who just want to monetize bullshit, right? They don't care who they offend. They don't care who they desecrate with their nonsense. They want the clicks. The clicks are the money. So get them out of here, man. We shouldn't even be talking about these cats, man. Get them out of here, cancel them. We don't need to. They don't exist in our world. We live in a whole different world, these people. So that's all I got, bro.
I appreciate that, Webb. I do think, though, that I think ignoring them would be like the ostrich that sticks his head in the ground trying to hide from the hunter, right? I think, you know, you can ignore it and it'll still happen. People will still be influenced by it. I do sometimes, not all the time. I don't think you must critique everything per se, but I do think sometimes you gotta step up and say, you see this shit here? This is what you don't do, right? That's just my feelings about it.
Can I retort a little bit to that, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, to go back to your point, it's like it's gonna exist whether you like it or not, because you don't control your media, you don't control your image, you don't control any of those things. So you pushing back is actually giving it more news, because they don't care. They're not gonna push back on you pushing back. They don't care about you because you're not their target audience. You're not their target demographic. This is one thing I think that is a disservice to us, is that we try to save everybody, bro. And you can't save everybody, bro. This whole just because you are melanated, you are one of us type of shit, it needs to die a fast death. Because that's not the case. You know, the destruction of a black civilization speaks on this. You know what I'm saying? They send the mulattoes, they send the sellouts, they send all this stuff. So this is nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. This is a continuation of a practice that's always exists, right? When you leave your fortress and try to fight everybody in the field, that's how you lose the war. You feel me? You build up your castle, you build up your people, you build up your army till you're stronger than them. Then you can go out in the field. But you know, that's my thoughts on it. You know, I respect your opinion, brother.
Oh no, yeah. Anything I say, the way I say anything you guys say is not antagonistic to one another. I just think, you know, we all have our thoughts on it, and like Jose said, it is a catch-22 of sorts. If you talk about it, you're promoting it. If you don't talk about it, people are still being influenced by it. So it's such a shit show that what we're dealing with. It's insane. Afro Native World in the chat says he ignores all this nonsense and only gets it through this channel because you all have a Pan-African land. You know, it's a catch-22, like Jose said. Brother Bakari is out there saying peace and black power to the panel in the chat. Bakari, when you have a chance, sometimes later on, you could come on and talk about that New Rochelle situation you was talking about on your show yesterday. Trigger Happy 262 Plus says, if there was any sort of community all of these women should have gotten consequences. As I throw it to Oni. Oni, what are your thoughts in general? And what do you think those consequences should be for the women?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, that's tough. But as far as I can tell, this is embarrassing. Obviously, the woman with the green shirt and the red hair, she claims to be like this super pro-black kind of person. She also was like, oh, but we got to go for trans rights, this, blah, 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 blah. Like, where are you guys when the trans are getting beat up and shit like that, right?
That was her, huh?
Come again?
Oh, that was her in that one tweet I saw you comment to.
Yeah. So that was her. She was like, she had like a picture of her arm raised, like Black Power type stuff. But she was also like, where are you guys when the trans are getting beat up? And where are you when this is happening? And, just a bunch of LGBT stuff. That said, like, that's the problem with us not having, like us not participating in our own education. We as a, like, I'll say it this way. Du Bois said it. Du Bois was talking about Atlanta. He said, look, Atlanta has two ways to go, right? They either follow the spiritually upright way of doing things, or they follow mammon, right? Mammon is the lust for money or something, right? These women are sitting here, I think, because if they were to get up, if they were to protest, if they were to be serious, they won't get paid. Brother Bakari used to play this thing. It's like, for the love of money, you know what I'm saying? That's what we have to understand as a people, right? You live in this capitalist economy, right? But you don't have capital. And what happens is that because we don't have capital, everybody's looking for some way to make money. And these guys right here, Fresh and Fit, I don't know who they are, right? I'm being told the guy is not an Arab, he's a Mexican. Oh, maybe Nick Fuentes is the Mexican, I don't know. But they found a way to make good money, right? And these women haven't. So way how the world works is that people with money is, pay other people without money to do things for them, right? That's what we call work. That's what we call jobs, right? It should inform us that we have to find a way to generate capital in a real sense. Not generating capital is really the problem that we have. As far as, what these women should, so on and so forth, this is what they're doing is broke people activity. You know why I wouldn't do this shit? Because I don't need to. You know what I mean? I got money in the bank. I don't need to. I'm looking at Trigger Happy's comment that came up. I'm not sure if they actually get paid. The only type of money they may get is through attention and exposure, unless Timon and Pumbaa pay their guests, which I doubt, since the point is to belittle, right? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they get paid, but obviously that they're, if anybody knows about American women, they're not trying to go nowhere unless there's some sort of pay. There's some sort of economic financial benefits. I'm pretty sure that exposure might be pretty pretty intense, or something. Come again?
A lot of times when you have these like model, wannabe model types, they will do an event just to get a plate of food at the end of it. Just to get a plate of food. Like, it's not even no big money. It's just a little meal ticket. Like literally a plate of food. But go ahead.
Damn, okay. Yeah, but I mean, like, shit, if you ain't got no money, you're gonna look for a plate of food. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you gotta eat. Some women, like my experience, my exposure to American women, that's why I said I'm gonna be celibate here, right? My experience with American women is that, yeah, a lot of them don't even have a plate of food. A lot of them don't have food. Because the thing is that a lot of people all over the world, really, but a lot of people are bums. And these are just, maybe one of them is a good looking bum. Y'all see her, right? But for the most part, they're just bums. And the thing is, what do we do about the bums in our community? some bums like this fresh and fit people, they figure, hey, look, we could just do some dumb shit. People are gonna engage, you're gonna get so on and so forth, right? And other bums are like, hey, we could sit up there and look stupid, right? And we'll get a plate of food. But that's the thing. It's like there's just too many damn bums in the black community, really. And a lot of us just kind of overlook that. But that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that as you mentioned, too many bums. That reminds me of that conversation we had some weeks back, where the white boy was feeding the black guy a banana. Like, we would be surprised because a lot of stuff I used to keep up with when I was young, and I remember being in certain venues in the city and stuff like that. Whenever they bring these kind of pretty women out to dress a certain way and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they're just giving them a meal. In fact, I mentioned comedians. A lot of those comedians, when they first start out, they're just getting a little meal pass to eat at the restaurant or something afterwards, or maybe get a drink or something. Like, there is a bum problem. You're right. And what are you gonna do about the bums? Webb had to drop off. He'll be back. Is there any last words for this problem?
Yeah, right. I have some words for it. I listened to D Webb. I agree. I am in the middle between D Webb and Koku, because when D Webb says that these are not our people, in terms he really saying we must differentiate ourselves from this class of people. Build our ark, our Noah's ark, go on our ark, and wait until the rains come, because these people are going to be slaughtered. These people are going to eventually. Then I think of Hitler and the Jews. And when Hitler first started with his commentary in terms of what he thought about the Jews is like, well, we're going to ignore him. He's just making a bunch of noise. We shouldn't pay attention to these kinds of characters because they really don't make no sense. They're not gonna. They just collapse. They cartoon characters. But eventually, and unfortunately, Hitler was able to galvanize enough people to eventually put the Jews in ovens. So I'm thinking, if the Jews, who were powerful at one point within German society, did say something about it, maybe the results wouldn't have been what the results eventually came to. So I kind of like it. I'm in the middle. Should I say something? Should I lend my voice to these kinds of situations and things? Because these people are nonsense. They are nuisance. They should be ignored. But on the other end is slaughter. The slaughter of our people. I can't just put a eye to the eventuality of that actually happening. So who I can make aware of certain things, I should make aware. I should lend my voice to make aware of what actually is happening, because some of these people don't know any better. And maybe the possibility exists. Maybe if they knew better, they would do better. Not all of them, some of them. So you may be able to save a few. So I'm in betwixt and between paying no mind and paying some mind. But I'll leave it there.
Well, let me jump in there. So you mentioned the Jews, right? They couldn't stop Germany. The thing that you were supposed to do if you were a Jew was leave Germany. Okay, that's all you're supposed to do. They couldn't stop Hitler's machine. So, that example of, hey, if I were a Jew not to say, yeah, if you were a Jew and you stayed to talk and shit, you would have been baked like the rest of them. There were a lot of Jews who stayed to talk and shit and warn people, and they just ended up in ovens. The point is, get out of, do not wait for your turn in the oven. That's it. Just do not wait. I mean, luckily for you, you're not in America, so, you're already good. But the point is that a lot of black folk in America, y'all, come on, for real. You're headed to the oven. Because the thing is this, we saw the writing on the wall. I saw the writing on the wall with, all them other idiots before. You know what I mean? First time I saw Tariq Nasheed, I was like, nah, this dude, I'm not gonna mess with him, right? And I said, yeah, nah, Tariq Nasheed's a clown. That didn't change nothing. Like the thing that, again, we go back to capital. The thing we don't understand is how much money is moving behind closed doors, right? All you got to do is look at the house that Tariq Nasheed lives in. Just look it up. Look at that house and ask yourself, how can this guy afford that house if he ain't got no damn job? I mean, he living in a big house in a popular area. Basically he got rent up the wazoo. How he do that? He ain't got no job. Come on. It's common sense that there's something else going on. And the fact is that if that something else is going on and it got nothing to do with you, you can't control it. So you just got to say, okay, look, this is the system that's here. All right, let me get out of here. You know what I mean? Let me get out of here and go to a system that works for me. Because this system right here, these are, at least one of them is a beautiful woman, right? At least one of them is a beautiful woman. And actually, I don't even know, because you don't know who's a woman nowadays, but at least one of them might be a beautiful woman, right? That said, this is what they're reduced to. And you got to say to yourself, because you can't stop that. You can't say that. You don't know any of these people. But all you know is that there's just going to be more and more into the future, because all of them sat there and said, let me get that meal. So you promised me some KFC? All of them said that. That's it.
Only I was going to move to the next topic, but you reminded me about something that came up when this fiasco occurred. And that's a lot of people were saying that between the host and a lot of the women, because someone pointed out that like 4 of the women are like Haitian or something like that. They said, oh, these people don't care about the Black American or the African in America's experience here. So it's funny. It can be a joke. A dude, a half Arab, I think he is half Arab and half Bayesian or something like that, from Barbados. A dude like that can put a KKK hood on, right? Like, I don't think too many of the oppressed or the ancestors of the oppressed in America would do that, right? But the word is that, folks didn't care because it's not their history. What do we do about that type of thing? Because I do believe that sometimes we have to bring this awareness and we have to use these examples. I think it was Buana who said it, that one of these women's brother had to pull them aside and kind of school them, if true. What do we do about that sentiment, though, that, Caribbean folks don't give a shit about the African in America's experience?
Let me jump in on here quick. So I think it's what Trigger Happy saying, but I think Brother Kamji verse pointed out that of the 6 women, 4 of them were pure Americans, right? The FBA, whatever, they were Americans, and then the other 2 were Haitian and American of the women. Now, granted, the 2 dudes, I think they are not, they're obviously not African American, but of the women, 4 of them were like basically all of them were African American, but 2 of them were mixed with Haiti and America. So that's the thing. It's like it really, and obviously I guess Trigger Happy was pointing out that some of them might be mixed with white folk, but that's another thing altogether. It's like if you were to say that these quote unquote African Americans love their history so much, then why the hell why are they the second most mixed diaspora, or the second most mixed African group on the planet? Like right behind Brazil. And that's all I'm saying.
Bonnie, want to add anything there?
No, he is right. And the one of them, who was supposedly a Haitian American, she said that she didn't grow up with her father. She said that her father left, who was a Haitian. She said she grew up with her African American mom. She said that's all she really knows. She grew up as an African American. But needless to say, the problem is a global one. The problem is not necessarily an American one. It's a global, the self-hatred that we have for one another is a global one. It's not specific to the United States. It's a global one. You have women in the Bahamas who swirl. You know, you have women all over the Caribbean and Africa. So I can't just limit it to African American women or men. It's a global problem. That's all I would add.
All right, thank y'all for that. Let's move on to shoot the breeze topic number 2.